You know, YouTube is one of the strangest things about anything. Like when it comes to social media, like YouTube and streaming, it's just so complex. I know I've said this before, but there really is no guide at all. Like I'm watching this video, by relatable TV. What up? There you go. You know what I mean? I'm just watching this video, right? Because I really don't, think I don't have my own version of motivation, right? And in this, content that is speaking, right, about his fashion dreams and stuff like this. But I really look at this and I'm like, bro, well, of course you're forced to practice and stuff like this because no one's willing to give you a guide, right? No one is willing to give you a guide to do this stuff, right? For free. No one wants to help you for free. No one's genuinely like that, right? You can send a DM out to someone, and if they don't respond, right, high chance, literally because they're not willing to help you for free, right? But like, that's just the way life is, right? You know, this tutorial of 18 years, it's pretty lacking. You know what I mean? Because you don't really learn anything. You don't really get taught anything, right? Basic things is like reading, writing, and knowing how to calculate. Basic numbers like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But you know what I mean? It's just so dumb that there is no guide, right? All my friends that are helping me, right? All the friends that I go to, talk about this YouTube stuff and all this, right? They are genuinely the only help I have, and I'm grateful for that because of the fact that they actually do help me. They give me advice, you know. They open my brain, you know. But other than them, there really is nothing else to do when it comes to YouTube, other than you just gotta put out content. Like, and that's the one thing I failed to do because I always think, oh yeah, Khalil, no, you gotta put out this hour-long video, and it's like, Khalil, you have control over this entire channel. You don't specifically have to put out, hour-long pieces of content. Like, and yet I never think of this, right? Instead, I just want to, make the best content for you guys. But it's just so, it, it's just so annoying, right? And yes, I know I'm making this video, extremely, this is gonna be up probably like 2, 3 a.m. But you know, it's really whatever because of the fact that I wish I was better at making this stuff, but I'm really not. But like, it genuinely makes no sense to me though. Like one of the TikToks I had seen a while back, right? It's still on my liked page, but uh, it was about Conor McGregor saying, my lack of belief is, almost an insult to all the people who do believe in me, and it's like that's actually real because of the fact that multiple people have told me, right, they do think that I can pull this off, right? They do think I can be up there, but the only person who truly lacks belief in all this is me, the person who's making the content, the person who's pushing it out, you know what I mean, the person who's editing the videos and stuff like this. But i I dislike the way it all is, right? you know my friends are really there. you know they really do help me a lot, but I'm talking about, like, I have no one when it comes to like YouTube and stuff like this. I genuinely have no one, like, and I'm talking about, like, there's not a single person teaching me the ropes, right? I don't have some other YouTuber or streamer that's like, hey yo, hey, how would you do this, you know what I mean? How do you do this? Right? And it's like, no, nah. It's more like I have full control over what's going on in this channel. And when I play games where I have full control, I normally, right, dislike playing them because for some reason I would rather be forced along a certain path, right, without a way of like a way of separating from that path than to have the choice of going into a forced and then open path. You know what I mean? Like how I've been playing Elden Ring for that's the main reason why I don't post that much anymore, because of the fact that I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and Elden Ring has helped me open up my mind a bit, right? Because of the fact that I lack belief in my abilities, even though I'm very capable of pulling something like this off, right? I'm capable to be up there with Corey Kenshin and Markiplier and Berlizzi and all these different creators, right? you know, or I could do streaming, right? And I could be up there with, Kai Snap, I Show Speed and stuff like this, Joe Bart, Queso, and such. But it's my lack of belief in my own abilities that costs me the fact that, you know, that makes me produce less content. And that's only myself to blame, right? And the more I watch these videos, the more I see these content, right? This motivational content, right? It's just like, bro, you got to catch up, And like one of my friends, right? Technically, the only friend I have that's actually doing YouTube, right? Right. He started like a little bit, before. He only started like a month before I did, before I, you know, started posting on my, channel and stuff like that. And he makes alternatively better content than I do. He produces better content. Like we have like a month difference, right? And how could he get so far? He has like 3 times the amount of subs that I have, right? So it's like, how could he get so far? And then I'm like, it's his content. You know what I mean? He makes good content. That's the only way, right? And it's like, bro, like he must have been working on the content for so long to push it out, right? But also, I mean, he's not, making, hour-long videos. There's also a difference, you know what I mean? He actually put a lot more into the shorts than the videos, which actually does make sense, right? But at the same time, it's like, Kalo, you couldn't do what this person did, you couldn't do what he did. So it's like, bruh. So it's genuinely like, I have to find my own path in this, and that's the most difficult part because, like I told you, what I am basically, I'm just a gamer, bro. I'm just a gamer. Like, yeah, you know, I like to say, oh yeah, because my lack of eyesight, I can't really do a lot of things or refuse to do a lot of things because of the fact. But like, let's just say if it was fully gone, I like to. Would I really be any different? Probably not. I claim that it's my sight holding me back, but it's really not at the end of the day because of the fact that would I still do these things if I had my eyesight back? You know what I mean? And that's probably not. The the bravest I've ever been was when I had joined JRTC, back in 8th grade, and like doing all that stuff. I really did push my body to its limits. Only because of the fact that I'm a fat dude, gang. So of course I push myself to my limits when I'm barely athletic, and I can't. I did that from 8th grade into 9th grade, right? If I would have been still at the school, I would have continued it, right? But yeah, I was the best version of myself, like the best, like yes, kind of a worse version than I am today, but also if we're talking about fully, I was the best version, right? Because of the fact that I did a lot more. I was out there in the spotlight a lot more. If I had all the stuff I had today, right? If I had started making videos back then, like imagine where I could have been now. Imagine. But instead of focusing on the past, I need to focus on the future. I need to focus on the present, right? And I need to start making more content, even if that means I start a new game. Even if that means I post, the video I've had, Dying Light for almost like a month or two, or even more. You know what I mean? Even if that means I start a new playthrough, of a whole different game. Maybe if I don't post, the Dying Light or what's it called, or Sinking City. Don't post either of those I have in my inventory, but I make a whole new one. Like, and instead of me worried about, oh yeah, I'm gonna get called the guy who doesn't finish games, instead of worrying about that label, right? Which would probably never come because of the fact that no one watches the content in the first place, right? Um, I basically should just be like, hey yo, try to be there for your fans, try to be there for everything, right? Try to post a lot more, because at the end of the day, even if you're not posting the greatest of content, it's more like, you're still posting, you're still there, you're still showing up. And yes, all of this is basically just dopamine talking at this point, because I know myself too well, bro. I'm probably not gonna mess with any of it to begin with. But you know what I mean? It's just like, hmm, why can't I get this through my head? It's been multiple months now, gang, multiple months, right? And I still have the same thought process, the same thought process. When I could have been, you know, I could have probably already edited, the Sinking City's next part and split that up to, two halves. Boom, shipped it out. Or I could have posted the Dying Light video and shipped it out. Or I could, recorded some more Elden Ring content, shipped it out, or even, some Bloodborne content and shipped that out too. You know what I mean? And still, at the end of the day, right, I'm still just, you know, a trash can at my own responsibilities. Like, how, who am I to tell someone else, hey, yo, you're not about the craft, you're not about it, when I ain't even about my own craft? You know what I mean? The only reason why I'm even making this video is because my thoughts, my brain has, opened up every time, it's late at night, and this is like the only time where I can truly make, content. But it's like, bro, like, these motivational videos actually help me to think. You know, it may seem, my brother said it was kind of crazy how I need motivational videos. I need to watch motivational videos for me to want to even get up and make content, which he's absolutely right about. But it's like, bro, you know what I mean? If I lack belief in myself, bro, everyone else's belief in me doesn't even matter anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I think, and one of the things Kaizen had said was, you don't need to, you need to be patient. You don't need to, blow up super quick. You know what I mean? You don't need to do this. So, I slowly, think like maybe, he's just absolutely right in this scenario. Like, I had watched this, technically, it would, you would basically call it like a documentary of like Corey Kenshin, right? You know, and it took, and the dude said that it took, I think it took like Corey 5 years, 5 years to reach 10,000 subs. I think that's what he said. But like, that's crazy in itself, right? 5 years. That's crazy. But at the end of the day, it's like YouTube is a very hard place to be, especially even now, because of the fact that there's more YouTubers popping up. But it all really do die down and disappears quickly too. And then the same with streamers. But the difference between streaming and YouTube is, one, you can actually, put on a face. You can make this stuff, the best possible. But streaming is like, you're really there. You know what I mean? There's no faking it, bro. You're there. You know, your voice is out there, your face is out there, and people seeing the real you. And this is why, in turn, I just try to be as real as possible, even if I post as less as possible, right? Because it's like I would rather have a bond with my audience than, you know, than be, absolute, a clown and a fake person. You know what I mean? But even though I know that most people who are even subscribed to me ain't gonna watch this, right? I would still rather make this video just because of the fact that it's like, come on, right? Khalil, do you. Like, be yourself. Make more content. This. And it's just so dumb. You know what I mean? Trying so hard. Like, trying so hard to, stay away from your responsibilities that you chose. Like, this is Beth. You chose game. Get on it, man. And it's all just dopamine talking at the end of the day. Bruh. That's I am. I'm for a piece of crap, bro. But yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's just the way it's gonna be for a long time. Like I don't like unless I change, of course. But I need to make I need to make peace with everything that I have going on in my in my life. Make peace with the day I might go blind, and just make peace with everything else too. You know what I mean? Make peace with the fact that I don't need to blow up fast on YouTube. Like I need to make peace with the fact that I might go blind any day of the week, so I might as well do YouTube like that. You know, like for some reason I feel compelled to not accept these realities, right? Because at the same time my family's like, oh yeah, don't worry, we got you. We're gonna get and get you Hershey and stuff like this, and it's like, bro, it's like, why the freak are you giving this hope when you know most likely that my eye is completely gone? It's been like over 10 years, gang. It's over 10 years. So I'm probably long since cooked. Um, but yeah, but at least if my vision's cooked, let me not make my YouTube channel cooked. As in, like, a YouTube channel that was just there 1 minute and gone the next. All because he felt like he couldn't do it or blow up, when it's like it shouldn't be about that, right? It should be about of getting out there, right? Like, more than anything, like, I would rather help, be here to help you guys out than to just exist, and be down in the dumps all the time, because that's basically what's always happening. like like Elder Ring gets my blood boiling, but it also gives me that adrenaline and gives me that feeling that I can do it. You know what I mean? Like, I killed that freaking tree sentinel, right? Draconic tree sentinel that was guarding the capital, and that dude put the pressure on me, bro. But at the end of the day, I really did do it. But yeah, maybe if I have that thought process with YouTube, maybe I can actually do it. But like I said, I still don't know how to end videos like that and all this stuff. So, and basically, the person that even helps, like when I go to ask, oh yeah, should I do this or should I do that? I either go to my one friend, or I just go to ChatGPT. I told you, I'm just genuinely like a lousy YouTuber, bro. Like, just before making this video, I like pounded half of a 2,000 calorie sub just because, and then I just got a Gatorade in front of me. But yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? If anyone does see this, I do just thank you for even watching this far. And if you don't, and if someone if this happens to get no views, that's also okay with me. because at the same time, it's like it's better that I have posted instead of just sitting on my butt all day. You know what I mean? Right. If I'm gonna lack in anything, right, let me lack in school. Let me lack in eyesight. Don't let me lack in the choice that I chose, the place that I chose to put myself. This is what YouTube is. Just my way of my way of redemption, my way of not letting anyone down. But it's like I can't keep letting people down. Then if you do the opposite, what I mean. This is my way of holding myself, accountable, right? If any other people that I've hurt or been hurt by see this stuff, right? It's like I'm sorry, you know what I mean. But yeah, this is my way of redemption. This is my way of holding me accountable, right? I know, multiple different people that remember me. They probably aren't see this in the first place, right? And I try to make up for it every single day, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't help that I'm keep letting myself down and letting others down too. If it's my version of accountability. But at the end of the day, it's just you know, this is just the way I am. This is just me. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I try to change. Of course, I try to improve. But this changing doesn't happen, in one day. So I'm going to be forced to, live with myself for a few more years. But no, regardless of any of that, just know that I'm happy for every last sub I get. Every last one. Every last person who subscribes, let me know. If you want me to, put back up the Discord, stuff like that, I'll do that. My Instagram, I'll put that too. If you need, stuff like Snapchat, Discord, Instagram, all this stuff. Yeah, I have it all again. But yeah, at the end of the day, just I'm just gonna keep doing my thing regardless. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep trying to make videos. I'm gonna keep trying this. At least because of the fact that I can't give up. Just yet. I can't give up just yet. I have to keep going, especially for the fact, what's up here, what's up here in this brain, right? Would easily tell me, hey yo, just pack it up, bro. Go on, kick rocks. Skip the game of life. But nah, I think I'll stay. Just just so I can see this out to the very end. Maybe I should tell myself, maybe I should give myself one more day. As I was saying, but you know, I'll see you in the next video though. Don't worry, I'll actually make a next video. But see you in the next video. Peace.